Flying a drone is hard enough. Flying a drone through the White House at Christmas with Secret Service protocols, approvals, and zero margin for error. That's exactly what Jaybyrd Films pulled off. And last Christmas, he asked me to sound design the film. Today, I'm going to show you 3 sound design lessons from this project that will absolutely help you in your own videos. Let's start with the obvious problem. And I'm not talking about politics. The real challenge with this video is that there's no on-screen action. We're not following a character, there's no footsteps, no dialogue happening in real time, and we're just flying through a space. A historic, emotional, and symbolic space. But still, it's just a fly-through. That meant sound had to do the heavy lifting, and that's what Jay promised the team.
We're going to be using sound design to really bring it to life. So many years of history meshed with beautiful visuals and flight, and then that sound design, that'll reign supreme. And of course the doves.
The first challenge was simple and brutal. Nothing is happening. And when nothing is happening visually, sound becomes the movement. Let me show you. I always start projects the same way. I watch the video before starting, no overthinking, then I go back and ask, what does it need to feel like? So instead of trying to invent action or lean on a Mariah Carey song, I focused on making the viewer feel like they were riding along. I have a ton of whooshes here in my session. Just constant whoosh, 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 whoosh. And then I also, in this section, I also used some Christmas sounds. A magical shimmer, and other Christmassy whooshes. The goal wasn't to hear the effects, but to feel the momentum. This project had another layer of complexity. There wasn't a formal script when it was filmed. A drone tour is straightforward, but to level up the production value in post, I asked for my favorite type of assets to spice things up in this video. Archival audio. I knew the White House had a bunch, so they sent this huge folder with all sorts of music and archival moments. There's presidents, first ladies, different eras, different recording qualities, and none of these clips sounded even remotely the same. And so here's the key decision I made. I didn't try to clean them all until it sounded modern. I leaned into the nostalgia of Christmas past. Christmas is already emotional, and a lot of that emotion lives in the memory. So I decided to use subtle radio coloration, public address style processing, and gentle saturation in space. Not to make it lo-fi, but to make it cohesive. That way I could use different voices with one emotional world. And that's sound design serving the story, not just audio perfection. I used this radio sound from Place It by Soundly. I layered that with Saturn II and their public address. I EQ'd it for a little bit of softness, and I ran it through some other processing. But this was definitely a high-profile project that came with pressure. A lot of pressure. The theme of the decorations was a season of peace and light. They didn't want to offend anybody, they didn't want it to feel political, and it couldn't be cheesy. So we tried multiple versions. One focused on the decorations and the theme.
Then chiming bells call us to the East Colonnade, where bells line every archway, filling the air with the sounds of the season.
One had former President Biden reading "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
"'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse."
My favorite version used archival clips from a variety of presidents and first ladies, Republican and Democrat, with a holiday message and insight.
That this sense of unity and universal goodwill may enter into all hearts and bring hope and promise for the new year.
Christmas time reminds each of us that we have a duty to our fellow citizens, that we are called to love our neighbor, just as we would like to be loved ourselves.
Eventually, they decided that the final version would be former President Biden's final Christmas message to the country.
But too often we see each other as enemies, not as neighbors, not as fellow Americans. So my hope this Christmas season is that we take a few moments of quiet reflection, find that stillness in the heart of Christmas, and look at each other as who we really are, fellow Americans. Fellow human beings worthy of being treated with dignity and respect, because there's so much that unites us as Americans. So much more that unites us than divides us.
And here's the sound design lesson. You don't have to fight convention and limitations on projects like this. You embrace those limitations tastefully. Your job isn't to reinvent Christmas. It's to use those familiar cues with restraint and intention. But this is actually really tricky. When there's no on-screen action, there's nowhere to hide. Every sound choice is exposed. Too much sound and it feels forced. Too little sound and it feels dead. This kind of holiday project forces discipline, taste, and restraint. And honestly, those are the hardest skills to learn in audio. So here are your takeaways. If you're working on drone films, YouTube videos, commercials, or calm cinematic content, sound can create motion even if there's no action. Emotion will come from texture, not just diegetic sounds and volume. And convention and cliche aren't the enemy. Ignoring them will be your downfall. Master those three, and even a quiet video can carry weight. If you want to learn more about sound design and leveling up the audio in your videos, click subscribe and grab my free ebook, How Videos Become Cinematic, in the description. But if you're already making cinematic videos and wasting too much time on audio problems, check out this video next.